love of animals, and their inspiration. I believe profoundly that good people inspire animals to connect and bond with them, that some animals are kindred spirits intertwined and bonded with you. In mythos, such animal-human connections have been seen as sacred or supernatural, like a witch's familiar or a pharaoh's sphinx. My beloved cat princess was my familiar. My daughter Amanda's cat, named Shadow, was her familiar. And there is no lack of love and passion for other pets either. I loved and love my pets, past and present. Fortunately, I also believe there is room for more than one familiar in our lives. Even at the same time, people know when they are bonded with their pet and when their pet has bonded with them. My wife, children, and I have lost pets. Later in life, my daughter Amanda shared a poem that she wrote when her cat Shadow had passed. It touched me. Shadow was Amanda's princess, and Shadow was like Catherine's Desdemona. This is Amanda's poem, sharing her loss and unrelenting love of her Shadow. It reflects Catherine and my feelings of loss and sorrow for our beloved kitties. Be cautioned, it is heart-crushing. At least it was and is to me. For the Love of Shadow, a poem by Amanda Seaborn. I knew that you were dying. I worried any night I wasn't home. I stayed home from vacations so that you wouldn't die alone. One night you were weaker, unable to walk far. Your glossy eyes were fading, and your light deteriorating. I carried you like an infant to the hospital the next day, hoping to revive you from your sickly state. Feline granulocytic leukemia, small cell lymphoma, kidney disease. I'd seen too many of your bones through your back and matted fur. A pound less a week later, I saw too many more. You kept trying to stand and falling over on your side. Your silent mews were pained, heartbreaking. You wouldn't shut your eyes. I dripped water through your missing teeth because you could not stand to drink. You stood up one final time and fell as hours passed. Your hours passed. Only your chest lifts with breaths, and your heart beating through your skin confirmed that you were even there, that there was life within. I had denied suggestions to put you to sleep, because who was I to stop you from fighting? But now you surrendered, prepared to resign. You deserved more than to painfully go. It was time to be euthanized. In the blue cashmere blanket, I held you like an infant. The blanket concealed the catheters, tying you between life and death. I watched the syringe empty into you. You went to sleep, your tension released. I had not the ability to see the injection to the end. You died, my perfect friend. I walked out, chin to my chest, with layers of loss coating my eyes. Of all your power, light, and magnificence, there were now only ashes that had survived. Much as Shakespeare wrote, it is better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. I feel that the many animals in my life taught me compassion and how to care for another. They were my family. They were my caretakers. Though they may have passed, some in horrific ways, I love them all. I will always love them all. So long as my mind can remember, and that scares me, that I could forget them. Psychiatrist assessment for the love of pets. Dr. Brandon's iPad window flashed. His eyes were watery from apparent empathy. He spoke, "Richard, I have a spot in my heart for animals. They are true to who they are. and they show their love willingly if you will accept it. I love animals. Your loss is Richard. I can only impart, I am sorry. Richard, my heart wrenched hearing about your saving your dog lady's life using CPR and watching her struggle to live, being half paralyzed from a stroke, and then hearing of your epileptic dog drowning in a storm, soul-crushing, and drowning your own pet as euthanasia, as it looked into your eyes while you drowned it, killing your beloved friend and pet. It's incomprehensible. The deep emotional scars that must have left on you, and the horrors of cats dying because they ate rat poison, from wasting away from diseases, struggling to function after strokes and heart attacks. The hellscape you've described, Richard, is beyond psychologically devastating. It is amazing that you are as grounded as you are. You must have developed a very strong resilience, a resistance to emotional scarring, but it is possibly catching up and coming out now with a vengeance in this late life of yours. And your pet princess, your one and only true lifelong friend and ally, lived far beyond ordinary lifespan and died despite your best medical efforts to keep her together and alive. I could see even talking of her frazzled you emotionally so many years, decades later. Oh, Richard, and that poem about the cat Shadow from your daughter Amanda, it made me tear up. Living that same experience but with different pets at different times is tragic. I don't feel it is appropriate to delve onto this right now. It's too sensitive. I have nothing else to offer here, Richard, but the sympathy for your hardships and your losses. Casellia leaned forward. Richard, your pet stories were quite moving. I'd like to hear more of your memories, if that would be okay. I replied, I have a veritable tome of memories and flashbacks written down now, having months abandoned to do it. And so I began telling my memories again.